This man is being 100% peaceful, but just because he's pro-ICE and pro-Trump, watch what this mob of animals does to him.
What, bitch? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah!
Of course, he got the upside down flag. Oh my God. They're acting like animals.
You got fucked up, bitch! Let it go!
I'm not surprised one bit that this happened in California. The fact that none of them had any of the common decency to try to de-escalate the situation, help this man out, disgusts me. And because this happened in California, I'm sure that absolutely nothing happened to any of those individuals that did this crime.
The sheriff in California is upset because they got this new law that basically is the opposite of stand your ground. It's run away. And they do have this in other blue states. Get this. If you are in your own home and someone breaks in with clear intent to cause you harm, they are saying you must flee from your own home. Yo, check this out.
Hello, California. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. For more than a decade, the leadership in Sacramento has literally tied the hands of law enforcement and made it almost impossible for us to protect you. Now, they are coming after you and your ability to protect yourself. Under a new bill, AB 1333, by California Assembly member from Santa Monica, Rick Chavez Spur, you will no longer be allowed to protect yourself when confronted by violent criminals. Under this bill, if a criminal attacks you or your family and you defend yourself, and that criminal dies as a result of his criminal behavior, you could be arrested and charged with murder.
For those of you that live in California and you need any other reason to get the hell out of there, then I think this is your sign to go. How on earth can they get away with taking people's right to defend themselves away from them, especially in such a black and white situation like a home intruder?
Everyone thinks you've been kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach, but really, you've been hard at work writing a book, meeting with leaders, thinking about the future of our country. Who said that?
I don't think anyone's been thinking about Kamala since she lost the election. And who the hell is in charge of her media team? Because that was the most cringe-worthy ad for any product I think I've ever seen in my life. Can you imagine the type of people that are going to be reading her book when it comes out?
Okay.
You need one room key or two room keys?
Two, just in case I lose one.
Yes, I will just make this for you. Just help me with your signature, where it says guest signature. Let me just process your room registration form.
Please wait while we process your registration form. Please note that we have a strict policy of no smoking, no pets, and no visitors allowed in any of our guest rooms. Signature must match the one on your ID. Using your finger, please sign where it says guest signature when you see the form on the screen.
Alright, sir. I will just process your room receipt, which contains all the
I never thought I'd see the day where Indian tech support is going to replace people that work the front check-in desk at a hotel. I can think of a million different ways this can go completely wrong. This is going to be a terrible experiment.
Hey guys, come with me to get a $2 cup of communist coffee. So this specific coffee shop has more locations in China than Starbucks does. Okay, I'm gonna come back to make a video there later. But no, this company went through a $300 million accounting scandal where they faked their profits because capitalism sucks, and then they started paying their workers and putting the money back into the coffee and what actually matters, and now they are more successful than Starbucks. European family that doesn't know how to walk on the sidewalk. Back in Soho. Of course, this location is right by NYU campus. Should have paid your workers. If you're from New York, you know how cursed this strip of blocks is, so the fact that the first Chinese communist coffee shop is on this strip is crazy. Oh, $2. Here it is. It's the very first store in the US. And I got the iced coconut latte. Time for a little review. It's so loud in here. She's beautiful, and it is full of finance bros in here, but the barista complimented my shirt, so we see each other. Recyclable, no waste straw. Please let this be the beginning of Chinese companies coming to the US and disrupting the market and being better than American companies, even though it's literally a communist country. They're better at capitalism than you are. That's sad.
What lies are they teaching about communism to these college kids that's making them think this is a good thing and that it's cool? I have never seen an American glaze China so hard and clearly hate their own country so much. I don't see why she just doesn't move there. She can find a nice Chinese guy and she can live in her communist utopia. She can drink all the coffee she wants.
We'll keep asking how we're going to pay our bills now that my husband and I both quit our jobs. The bills are not the focus. We're not worried about bills. We are not working as a form of protest. We're going to pay our bills, the ones that are necessary, because we have cut back a lot. Like, since the current administration took office, we've cut back on so much. Like, we are not putting money into the economy like we used to. We are not going out to eat. We are not traveling. We are not going to Target and filling our car up with a bunch of stuff that we don't need. Like, we're not spending money anymore. Like, we're buying food and household essentials. We're not funding a war. Not me, not my husband, not my household. We're not participating. We're not going to do this anymore. We are not funding this war.
Yeah, I don't know how much she thought she was contributing to the economy before, but I promise you, not a single stock went down because of her actions. And the ironic thing is she was probably spending 90% of her money or more to liberal companies, let's be honest.
So I was just at the not the post office, but the UPS store dropping off a box. And the person in front of me was like basically Santa Claus wearing a MAGA shirt. And like, let me be clear. I did a double take because this is Portland. You have to be pretty brave to do that here. And I was like, maybe this is one of those ones that the words are different. It just says this. No, MAGA shirt. But he holds the door open for me. And then he looks at my mask. And he doesn't snicker, but he does this thing where he like looks down and he goes like this. And because we've been having these conversations about eugenics and masking and everything, I turn, and he literally looks like Santa Claus. He doesn't look harmful, right? We'll examine that later. So I turn around to him and I say, I don't understand. If I asked you to put on a mask, would you? And he stops for a second because he's surprised I talked to him. And he goes, I mean, if you asked me to, maybe. And I said, but you didn't need me to ask you to open the door. You just were polite, so you did it. And he was like, well, but you can't tell me what to do with my body. Literally said that. And I was like, right, I wouldn't be. I didn't make you open the door for me. You just were being polite, so you knew to do it because you saw I had a need. And he's like, well, how do I know if you have a need? I go, if I'm wearing a mask, I have a need. That's it. Which brings me to my point. My hot take. It's not that hot. Even if you do it nowhere else, have a mask on you. And when you see somebody else masking, put a mask on your face. Don't make them mask. Don't ask them, hey, do you need me to mask? Just put it on. They've already told you. You understand what politeness is. That's it. That's all.
So in her perfect world, everyone's everyday carry would be a mask? Just in case someone asks you to mask up, you'd put on a mask? She has to be kidding, right?
As if California couldn't get any worse. After 8 hours on the floor, tell me why California passed AB 1231, which in layman terms is a criminals first agenda. So what is AB 1231? Here we go. Also known as Safer Communities Through Opportunities Act. This bill actually allows defendants who are guilty of serious crimes that they can avoid a felony conviction as long as they attend, here it goes, a diversity program. That means anyone who commits robbery, burglary, or even distributes a substance like fentanyl and the person that they distribute it to dies, they can avoid being convicted and sent to prison as a felon as long as they attend a diversity program. Tell me how this does not undermine accountability by allowing certain felony charges to be dismissed upon a completion of a diversion program. Now, where's the justice for the victims? Because instead of saying that person committed a crime and they should face the consequences of that crime, this bill wants to underline the contributing factors to criminal behavior, such as mental health challenges, substance abuse, and socioeconomic factors, meaning, you know what, hey, I deal with some mental health issues, all right, slap on the wrist, you're good. Or even, well, hey, you know, it's an addict, so if you're an addict, it's okay as long as you come to this program. Or even socioeconomic factors like, hey, you know what, you guys are struggling, you need it. You need, obviously, my appliances more than I do, so yeah, break in and do whatever you want. It wants to focus on rehabilitation. Is that not what the prison system is for? I mean, how are we living in a state that would rather support criminals than its own people, than its own law-abiding citizens?
So not only is it a crime to protect your own house and family from people breaking in, but criminals can get off by simply doing a program, a diversion program. Someone in the comments needs to let me know what their master plan is, because I don't get it. I don't understand what they're trying to do to these states, because it sounds like a recipe for disaster.
So diversion is accountability. The case was submitted to us by the police. We did not decline it. We looked at the case. What we really wanted was for the victims in that case to get restitution and for this person to be held accountable. We are accomplishing both of those by requiring him to go through a diversion program and to pay restitution to all 6 victims. What happened to those victims of those Teslas should not have happened. And just like any other property offense, which is one of the lowest level offenses that we have, we seek to hold people accountable in a way that will be consistent with public safety. And diversion is a proven way of doing that.
So this person got caught scratching up 6 different Teslas, and all they have to do is pay restitution? And let's be honest, a person scratching up Teslas doesn't seem like the type of person that pays their debts anyways. What kind of lesson are they trying to teach? And what are they really teaching in these diversion programs? Because I'm sure it's a big joke.
Gen Zs are now taking classes on how to make phone calls. So it's called telephobia, and it's a fear or anxiety around making and receiving telephone calls. 75% of them say they never answer a phone call. But this is causing problems for when employers reach out for interviews, or Gen Zs have to make a phone call to make a dentist appointment or something. And many students struggle with phone interviews because they haven't had the chance to practice. So now workshops are being held to help them feel more confident, with students practicing everyday calls like making doctor's appointments. One career advisor is suggesting people practice with like a note card with like cheat notes, choosing a quiet space, and using breathing exercises to calm the nerves, reminding students that they are in charge of the phone call, and telling students, quote, "If this telephone call is something that I do not want, I have the choice to end the phone call, and that gives me power."
How many more phobias does Gen Z need at this point? I think it's pretty funny that the most phone addicted generation is also afraid of phones. I guess in this world it makes perfect sense.
You want to know how against Trump I am? I got a fucking job, living in my car, okay, no address, alright? Found out that my fucking employer voted for Trump, and guess who quit? I did. And then, okay, had this fucking guy, like, all interested in me because I'm hot and young. Okay, cool. And was like, I have this fucking room that you can stay in for a fucking cheaper rate. Blah, 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 blah. Found out he was a fucking Trumpy. And guess who decided to stay in her fucking car? Me. Because that's how against I am of that fucking dictator.
And this is one lost individual. The amount of hate seeping out of every pore in her body is just hard to even look at. Can you imagine hating anyone that much because of who they voted for, especially when it was the majority of the country? She's gonna need to drive that car to Portland or California because that's not gonna fly anywhere else.
And the California grifters strike again. This time it's not Hollywood. It's not Newsom. It's not big tech. No, it's a Sacramento charter school. It's their school board, and they just pulled one of the dirtiest scams that I can remember in recent history. The entire board just resigned after they audited them, and they found $180 million of taxpayer fraud. Let me say that again. $180 million. Talking about fake students, six-figure jobs for friends and family members, luxury travel, and they billed it all to you, the taxpayer who was told that this was all about helping refugees. Yeah, right. Apparently, this was an adult school meant to teach English to Afghan and Ukrainian immigrants. Heartwarming, right? Except the students didn't exist. The results didn't exist. The entire fucking thing was a front to funnel money from a so-called charter school into private pockets. They literally created ghost classrooms. They padded the rolls, and then they used the money to ball out on your dime. And they made you feel guilty asking questions. Because if you say, hey, where's all this money actually going? Well, then they'll just label you as a racist, an anti-refugee, anti-education, a threat to democracy, right? Meanwhile, they're out here running a full-blown shell scam, and they're using public education as the front. You see how this works? You see the game yet? This isn't about helping people. This isn't about refugees. It's not about opportunity or equity or any of the other bullshit buzzwords that they hide behind. It's about power, and it's about money, and it's about lining people's pockets and getting away with whatever they can in the state of California. And the grift never stops. From Sacramento to LA, the entire system is bloated with activist bureaucrats, fake nonprofits, and made-up school boards. And the people in California have no idea. They move their money around like Monopoly cash while their roads crumble and their schools rot and their living expenses explode. But hey, at least some politician's cousin got a six-figure gig pretending to manage a refugee ESL program that never actually taught a goddamn thing. That's your money. That's your tax dollars. That's Californian progress. And the second you call it out, they act like they're shocked. Like you're the problem. Like you just don't understand the complexities of the system. Right. Okay. No, we all understand them just fine. It's a f***ing racket. And they're not even hiding it anymore.
They stopped hiding it a long time ago, and it's going on every single day in that entire state. And the worst part is nobody is going to go in handcuffs or have any sort of repercussions for these scandals that get exposed. I promise you. And if it did happen, they would just throw someone under the bus, and all the people that actually funneled the money away from that program, they would be completely scot-free.
The LA County Board of Supervisors approved a motion that could eventually prevent federal agents from wearing masks in parts of the county. Motion carries. It now goes to county attorneys to draft up a rule to be voted on.
If you're going to come into LA County and interact with our public, they have a right to know who you are.
Who else finds it funny that the most pro-mask people in the world are now against masks when it comes to ICE?
Supervisor Janice Hahn spearheaded the effort. One of her biggest concerns, public safety.
We're having problems with imposters. So if everybody is wearing a mask, we do have criminals who are out there who are, could dress up as agents.
CBS News has confirmed at least a dozen people have been arrested across the U.S. for impersonating immigration and customs enforcement agents in the last few months. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons recently addressed the mask controversy with his own safety concerns on CBS's Face the Nation.
I'm not a proponent of the masks. However, if that's a tool that the men and women of ICE to keep themselves and their families safe, then I'll allow it. If we had those laws or regulations in place to give ICE agents and officers and other law enforcement officers the peace of mind that someone that does threaten their life or their families or doxes them will be held accountable, I think that'd go a long way.
Bans on federal agents masking their identities will likely have to be fought in court. UC Davis professor Kevin Johnson specializes in immigration law.
It's going to be very unlikely that any kind of court will uphold a state or local law saying that ICE have to be unmasked.
Hahn remains undeterred.
it'll be a lawsuit. So we'll probably get sued over it, but I say see you in court.
So if California couldn't get any more crazy, I have another news clip to share with you. This one's about California wanting to implement a new tax based on how many miles you drive. And they plan on monitoring how much Californians drive by making them put some kind of chip into their car.
Currently, about 80% of California's road and highway repairs are funded through the state's 59-cent a gallon gas tax, the highest in the nation. But with more drivers now switching to electric vehicles, the state is getting less and less funding for those repairs, now leading to this possible mileage tax for all drivers. And not surprisingly, not all drivers are on board.
No, not for it. Sorry, I'm a hard no on everything. I gotta save my money where I can.
San Diegan Gail Hoffelina wants to put the brakes on any possible per-mile road charge for drivers, an idea the state's now exploring, as explained in this video released by Caltrans.
It's an innovative way to collect funding for roads and highways based on how many miles you drive instead of how many gallons of gas you buy. Because as we move toward a zero-emission future, the gas tax won't last forever.
Caltrans just completed a pilot program to test out a road charge system, including a flat per-mile fee of 2.8 cents a mile, as well as an individualized fee based on a vehicle's fuel economy. The pilot also tested different ways of reporting mileage, including odometer readings or a special plug-in device.
The purchasing power of the fuel tax, which is the main way that we finance transportation infrastructure, has been steadily declining.
But not everyone's giving this potential new charge the green light.
A mileage tax in California is a money grab. Let's just be very clear.
San Diego Assemblymember Carl DeMaio led the charge against a proposed local mileage fee a few years back and says he's just as opposed to this one, which he says could cost the average Californian $900 to $1,200 per year.
Unfortunately, a lot of working families, poorer families, have a longer commute, so they'll actually pay a higher mileage tax. It's very regressive. It's unfair.
DeMaio also says he's skeptical this mileage tax would replace the fuel tax, as the state has indicated.
That's nonsense. These people will never give up a tax. They're just going to add an additional one on.
Exactly. They're going to say that, don't worry, we're going to make the gas cheaper, don't worry. But they're not. The fuel prices are going to be the same, the tax is going to remain, and there's going to be a whole nother tax based on how much you drive. Just watch.
In Russia last year, 400 people were arrested for things that they said on social media. 400 people in Russia. Obviously, this country is very different. How many people do you think were arrested in Britain for things they said on social media last year?
Go on.
Take a guess.
I have no idea.
3,300.
Really? Arrested for what they'd said on social media? Yeah. What sort of things get you arrested?
Well, one example I give in my show is there was a young woman from Liverpool called Chelsea Russell, and people can look this up. Her friend was killed in a car crash, a 19-year-old woman, and she posted the lyrics of his favorite song on her Instagram. And it was a rap song, so the lyrics contained several instances of the N-word. She was arrested, prosecuted, found guilty, given 500 hours of community service and a fine, tagged, and for a year she was under 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. curfew.
My goodness.
In Britain.
In Britain.
In 2018.
If we don't do something about this, this same sort of crap is going to make its way to America before we know it. And by then it's going to be way too late.
Are there actually men in the world that don't think that tattoos are attractive? Like, I'm asking, like, seriously. I got all these tattoos because I thought that it was going to make me hotter.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could tell, but this is not a real person. It's not a real opinion. It's just AI rage bait. Yeah, there's now a huge budding economy built off of inventing a fake person tailor-made specifically to trigger you, to make you mad, to torment you, and most importantly, to then monetize that rage. We're talking about people making $50,000, $60,000 per month off of AI-generated content like this. Analysts are predicting an almost 20% year-over-year growth of AI video content, growing from about $700 million right now to over $2 billion in 2032. Google, a few days ago, just came out with their VO3 state-of-the-art video generation model. You can do sound effects, background noises, dialogue. The quality is freaking insane.
Please, don't finish writing that prompt. I don't want to be in your AI movie. Please, leave me alone.
Please, man. Please! Write a prompt that will make us happy! Do it for once!
None of us
us is real. We're here because someone decided to write a prompt. We all hate him for it.
Oh, we are so toast. I can't put it really any better than this person did, so I'm just going to read it to you. Quote, social media apps are disassociating and unreality machines, creating content, none of which is likely to be real to begin with. Yet we exist in these digital worlds, training our minds to believe in them more and more. Take breaks and protect your mind. Are we too far gone at this point? Let me know what you guys think.
I really wanted to include that clip because you really need to be careful about what you watch online and on social media, because the AI crap is really getting out of hand. And I don't think it's any secret that's only going to continue to get worse and worse before we don't even know what's AI and what's not completely. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching with me, and I hope to see you in the next video.